it would seem that a stock buyback is in full effect for Mullen Automotive. Hi again, everyone. Hope you're doing really well. So we have now survived day 3 of being above $1 as a closing price on the nasdaq. So there was a bit of doubt, obviously, in the stock today, with the stock falling down to as low as 94 cents per share, and up until the last hour was trading around 96 cents per share. But if you just look at the chart, you see there's a first little uptick, and then there's a very strong rise in the closing minutes of the day to bring the stock back up to $1.02 per share. So to me, that's probably evidence that the buyback, or at least some sort of trading to help support the stock price, is in full effect. Interestingly, we have seen a bit of a drop off in the aftermarket. That's possibly, there's possibly a bit of sentiment around the stock now about the results coming out from the company being a little bit, iffy, still a bit of high cash burn, and there's obviously a fair bit of dilution going on there as well. So, all in all, probably tracking how we'd expected. If you were a bit of a day trader, and I used to dabble in this a little bit, I don't really so much now, but if you followed Mullen and you had a day like today where it's dropping down to, 94 cents, you could possibly put your money in the stock and confidently, at say 94, 95 cents, and confidently be able to sell it at about $1, because it looks like the stock's being artificially pushed back up to that mark. So, it's kind of what we predicted would happen. That would get, sort of a line in the sand almost, where the stock in the closing moments of the day, they're going to push it back up to being above the $1 mark, and that's kind of what's happened today. Wasn't as pronounced on the other days of trading so far, but yeah, definitely today we saw that sort of buyback in full effect. Now, as we've been able to observe today, there's obviously a fair bit of pressure coming from shorts to try and push the stock price down further. No surprise here, it's kind of been the ongoing saga with Mullen Automotive, but we are starting to see some good things turn around now. Buried in the results that came out from the company, they sort of talked about updates on how everything's going. We're now starting to see some significant production happen, and that probably means this quarter we'll probably start seeing, some numbers of vehicle deliveries. Earlier in the year, David Mitchell pointed out that they're expecting a few thousand to be delivered this year. So that's going to be a meaningful final quarter for the year. That if they can deliver it like 2,000 vehicles, it means they can recognize the revenue for it, and that's going to hopefully do something to alleviate how people are feeling about the stock. There's a high asset to stock value going on right now, with the net assets divided by the number of shares available being higher than the actual stock price, which is obviously a very positive thing. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that Mullen Automotive has a strong and a high cash burn rate, and now that we're going to have some sales coming through or some revenue recognized, that's going to start being offset. I don't expect it to be offset to the point in this final quarter where it's going to be positive, but we should at least hopefully see a slowing down of the cash burn. I could be totally wrong on this. There's actually a very good chance that the cash burn will pick up, and the rate it picks up could surpass whatever revenue they're generating. But obviously we have to wait until the end of the year to see how that sort of goes. Anyway, so how do you guys see Mullen Automotive shaping up now? Do you think now that we're through 3 days, that yes, we can see that there seems to be some buying back of the stock going on, do you think we are going to be in the clear and regain that nasdaq compliance? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to use the whole $25 million in this buyback? And if so, do you think it's going to be enough to send the stock catapulting to a much higher level, which would perhaps put out of the question any future sort of reverse splits or whatever? Or do you think just the general confidence is not very strong in the stock? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'll try to be back with a more detailed update later on today. Until next time, everyone, may the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.